Hello and good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of Nail the Numbers. My name is Kerry Postal. I am the owner and founder of Abacus Business Solutions, where we help our clients know, understand, and trust their numbers. Hope you're having a great week so far. If you are joining me live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, thanks for joining in this morning. If you're listening to the recording of this on Spotify, then make sure you go back and check any episodes that you may have missed as well. Okay, let's jump straight in. We are talking change orders today, not necessarily everybody's favorite subject, but something that is important to discuss nonetheless. And it's something that can have a huge impact on your numbers as well. So let's dig in. So when it comes to a change order, how do you handle those in your business? Is it something that you have a system for? Do you have a documented way of doing this that everybody in your company knows how you do this to make sure that you do not give anything away to the customer, that you do anything that you didn't charge for, and that you make sure that every single cost is captured in that change order? So what do you do to make sure that happens? I would love for you just to drop a comment in the box below if you're watching live, and just kind of share what you do to help others. Or maybe if it's something that you're struggling to do and you've tried different things and it's not working, then be honest about that as well. Maybe someone can come up with a suggestion that can suddenly be the aha moment for you, and all of a sudden everything just makes sense. And obviously, we've got people listening that have been in business a long time, people that have just started out in business, so we can all help each other in that aspect as well. So change orders can be a common occurrence. I have one client who will do whatever he can to avoid a change order. He will make sure that when he goes into a customer's home, he looks for every eventuality, suggests as many things as he can so that the customer is aware of different things that could happen, communicates openly about different things that he sees, and will try not to have any change orders on a job. Of course, it doesn't always happen. Customer changes things, wants things done differently. And then obviously sometimes it happens when you get into a home and you start working on the project that there's something unforeseen, that there is no way that you could have known that was going to possibly be an issue. And then it becomes something that you have to then deal with, and then subsequently a change order. So basically, a change order is something that is changing the original cost of that budget. That's all it is. It sounds real simple, but then when you start getting into the logistics of that, it can create a whole bunch of different aspects of the job that you need to be making sure you're staying on top of and one step ahead of. So different things that could be different site conditions like we just talked about, maybe a change in material, maybe you decide that once you start on the work, on the project, you end up then having to do something slightly differently than planned. And then maybe, guess what? The customer changes their mind. Maybe they want to add something, they want to take something away. Of course, that is always going to be a high risk of coming up. So just stay one step ahead of that. And at the end of the day, the impact on a project can be limited with careful planning, clear, updated communication, and then strategic negotiation if needed. So first of all, let's talk about communication. So you've got to make sure that you are communicating with the customer if change orders come up. Don't wait till the end, and then it gets to the end of the job and you're actually, I've got 3 change orders, this came up, this happened, and all of a sudden you are landing the client, the customer, with another, X number of dollars in fees and charges that they were not expecting. That's really not going to go down well. It's not going to build that trust with the customer. So it's really important that when a change order arises, it gets documented immediately and clearly. You're detailing exactly what is changing, why is it changing, how is that impacting the budget, and then does that impact the timeline as well? So we're not just talking money here, we're talking potential timeline as well. So this documentation is really important, and it's really important that your team are aware of what they have to be doing when these things come up, so that when you get to that stage of having to put a number onto that change order for the customer, that you've got all the parts that you need, all the pieces. You're not having to go back and say, what happened here? What happened here? Where was this? What was this? You need to have a system set up so you get all the information you need, and your team know everything that you're going to need as well. So when we're talking about thorough documentation, we're talking about capturing every single cost. So no matter what it is that's changing, you want to make sure that you have everything, invoices, receipts, whatever it is that you needed to make that change order happen. You need to have copies of all of that. And you need to have information as to why did that change come up. When a customer suddenly is maybe faced with a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 change order, they're going to want to know why, like what happened. Did you miss something, as the business doing the work? Did they not disclose something? Did they change their mind? You've got to have all of that documented. And the sooner you have that conversation with a customer, the better that will be for you. And as of course, you want to make sure that you get that change order signed off on as well. You don't want to suddenly incur another $4,000 worth of work before the customer has agreed to that. And then all of a sudden they're like, I didn't give you the go ahead for that. I signed for this amount. I didn't tell you could do this. So you've got to make sure you have that thorough documentation. Make sure that you're signing off on it, they're signing off on it, and then everybody is in the same page. Now, sometimes there might be an element of negotiation that needs to come on, that needs to happen, which isn't something that you always want to do, but you want to make sure that your customer is happy at the end of it. They may have had a budget, and then you were able to meet that budget with the initial project, and then a change order comes in, and all of a sudden they're over budget. So you might need to work with them on that, see if there's maybe areas, in other places and other areas that you can make a saving. So look at the whole thing as a scope. Work together to try and make this happen. At the end of the day, you don't want to lose money. Your customers don't want to spend more money than they have to, but they don't want to be kept in the dark about it. They want to make sure that they know exactly what's going on in their project. If something changed, why did it change? Was there something that could have been done to, avoid that? What is the story that's going on there? Like I said, don't leave them in the dark. They want to know what's going on. And then being proactive in this. So you want to anticipate any potential changes and then discuss those scenarios with the customer in advance. So when you're going into a project, I'm sure that when you're looking at it and you're looking at the scope of work, based on your experience, there may be things there which you're like, what? Last time we did a project like this scenario ended up happening. So share that with the customer. Now, don't go into all the nitty-gritty details and all the dollars and everything, but just give them a heads up is that, hey, this is a potential issue that could come up, which is then obviously not going to be included in our current scope of work, and we may then have to adjust the amount. So again, just be upfront with them. If you see something that could be an issue, or if you're like, what, we're not sure of what the consistent, what the state of something is behind the walls and stuff, then say that there and then. Don't wait until the end. Make sure that you're like, because if you say at the end, the customer say, yeah, I had a feeling that might happen, but you didn't say anything to the customer, they're going to lose a certain element of trust, in you. So make sure that that is something that you're talking about and being upfront with the customer. They would appreciate it at the end. Then ultimately, of course, the impact with change orders is on your profitability. You want to make sure that you're managing change order so it minimizes that impact on your profitability. You want to make sure there's this delicate balance between accommodating the customer's requests and then also maintaining control over the budget as well and the timeline. So you want to make sure that, like I said, track all of your costs, whether you're doing it the old-fashioned way of collecting receipts and invoices and putting them into a folder. I remember that's what I used to do when I worked for a GC, over 10, 15 years ago. Now there's amazing technology out there that can help you track all of this. So if you're not using a computerized system that can help you with this, it might be something you want to look at investing in down the road, something that can help you to just kind of, keep track of every single change order rather than to have a paper copy of everything. So, think about doing that as well, but come up with a system that works for you, that works for your team, and helps you to track every single dollar, and that you make sure then that you're not losing money on a change order, because that then can ultimately have a huge profitability on the job overall. And that change order might eat up, every dollar of profit you had. So stay one step ahead. Make sure your team are aware of what they need to keep their eyes open for, what they need to be looking at, how they need to handle things. And maybe there's certain change orders at a certain level that you want to handle. So that's something else that you can talk to your team about as well. So in summary, change orders are going to be part of your everyday life. It's very difficult to avoid them. If you can, then that's great, depending what industry you're in. But just be aware that, they can, cause a disruption in the timeline. They can, cause upset for the customer if there's no clear communication. So have a clear system in place, have a process, and make sure everybody's on the same page. Be upfront with the customer. Don't keep them in the dark, and help them to be able to stay on top of their finances, just like you are wanting to stay on top of your finances as well. Okay, I hope that helped somebody to, just get a little bit clearer on the change orders. And if you've still got any questions, or you're not sure how to track or anything like that, or a general question about your books in general for your business, then please reach out. Send me a direct message, leave me a comment here, and one of my team will reach out to you, and we will get you booked onto my calendar. We can just jump on a Zoom call and let's have a conversation. Is there something that we can do to help you? Do you know your numbers? Do you know how much profit you're making on each of your jobs? What is it that you need to change in your business to help you to take your business to the next level? At the end of the day, you need to know your profitability. That's the way you grow. That's where you take your business to the next level. That is how you then increase your team, increase your number of trucks, and keep growing that way. If you don't know your numbers, it's going to be really difficult to scale. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to have a conversation with you, and let's see if there is a way that we can serve you. Don't forget, if you are not following us on any of our social media pages, then go ahead and subscribe and follow. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. And then don't forget to follow us on Spotify if you're listening here. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.